The video that you've been patiently waiting for is finally here. This is our land, and this is only half of it. I can't wait for you to see it all. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me. It's taken a lot for us to get here. The buyers for the old house wanted to move in quicker, so it speed things up by a week, and so we were scrambling to get things done, and we're finally done with it. The house is sold. We are just gonna be here now. Before, it was every day going 2 to 3 times to the other house to move things over. We had a 4,000 square foot home, and we scaled down to 2,800 square feet here. We are still flooded with boxes. We have to unpack, we have to donate, but that's besides the point. I'm finally able to show you the land, and the reason why I'm showing it to you today is because tomorrow we're having some trees cut down for our garden. So I needed to get this done today. So you're gonna see some areas that are not put together yet. I really wanted you to see the place the moment we received it, the way it is now, so we have the history, and we get to see before and after. So I'm actually gonna walk you over to our front gate, which is quote unquote the front, but not really. This is our main gate entrance, and that is a busy road. We have 5 gates in this property. This leads to the side of the house, not the front, but I'll get you there. But this is our view. Big difference, right? We're on 3.5 acres. Totally different from what we had. We didn't even have a quarter of an acre where we were at before. So it's huge. Let me walk you over to one of my favorite parts of the land itself. Something that I wanted to build if it wasn't existing, but this property has it. And here it is. We have a pond. It's not cleaned. We don't know anything about ponds yet. It goes all the way over to the side. So it does this L shape, which I think later on we're gonna try to make it a little bit more even there. And we came out here about a week ago. We used a kayak to see the depth of it because we weren't told what it was. But in the center here, it's about 6 feet tall, just the way it is now. We still want to come back and refill it because I think it's really low. That is really one of my favorites here in this land itself. We are planning to fish here. We are planning to stock it. I will record it all. You will go through every journey with me. This is so new for me, but I love to fish and I love fish. So I think this is going to be an addition to the house that makes this piece of land. And while we're here, let me show you the bamboo that is here, and there's tons of it. There is so much bamboo and there's so much land just in this corner that we're going to clear it up. If you notice that there's a lot of dead bamboo here, and we do have our dog, and he does love to come sneak in here, but I'm sure that there's snakes and other animals, and I'm afraid that he might get bit, and we certainly don't want that. So we're gonna clean it up. Later on, I wanna add beautiful colorful trees. We wanna add a fountain. We wanna add some type of nice water feature, lots of rocks, just something that people can come over here and really enjoy being by the pond. And let me show you the view from back here. One of the great features of this property is that it is all fenced in for animals, which is great for my dog. Because he's having a blast here, and he loves this pond. He's been getting wet every single day, and I enjoy watching him have fun. I'm gonna come on over on this side because it's just a small feature, but it's added here. They did have a fire pit. I don't know if you heard that, but those are frogs and they're very loud, which is really neat. But yeah, fire pit that needs some fixing, but it's there, and they left these chairs. Maybe we can restore them, or we'll add some new ones here. And then one of the other favorite things here are these trees. There's a lot of shade in these main areas, which is something that I truly love. Remember I told you that there is multiple gates in this property? Well, let me show you a few. We have one there, one there. The main entrance to the house is back there. One of the best parts of filming is that now I can speak loud. Before I had to tone my voice down because our neighbors were so close. And for one, I didn't really want to be heard. And two, didn't want to be loud for them. Coming over to the shaded area, let me explain. We have 2 water wells, which is another feature that I truly wanted. I really wanted well water, and I got 2. So this is one. The well is in here. The house was built in 1984. So I am assuming that this well has been here since then, and I'll give you a glimpse of what it looks like. If any of you know, there are all kinds of animals here. But if any of you know anything about these wells, let me know. I would love to get some education on them. Here it is. It is huge. We don't know anything about them. Some of these things are ours, but this is the other side, and then we have a lot of storage place all over this room. We already have some of our things, but this is the well. Right now we're not using the water from this well. We believe this well was used for the sprinkler system, but the previous owner didn't use the sprinkler system, so it must have been from the previous owner. So we have to learn about that. We don't know anything about it yet. We might have to start from scratch. We do see the sprinkler system, but we believe it's probably not functioning since it hasn't been turned on in over 5 years. Now we're gonna walk over to the front of the house. I do have a neighbor that's cutting his lawn, but I think you guys can hear me well. We might have to go around. But this is a cabin home, which is another one of my favorite features. This area right here that has a lot of brush is going to be cleaned out tomorrow. And before we move forward, let me turn over on this side and give you a glimpse of what it looks like over here. And unfortunately, we are planning on building a structure here. So we are going to remove these 2 big trees, which in the back is a magnolia tree. I've never seen it this big before. And it is sad, really sad to cut it down, but it does create a lot of mess, and it's going to be in the way of the structure. And quite a few, the contractors have told us that the roots are really invasive and they will break up concrete pretty quickly. I know it's already mature tree, but the structure is going to come up to it, and we'll talk about that later. Probably butt up to that building there. And I mean, it's massive. I've never seen one this large. And this is always here, even right after they cut the grass. But one of the other things about it is I don't think it's as healthy as it should be. So it definitely is going. I wanted to show you one of its blooms. I mean, it's gorgeous. The blooms don't last too long. I don't know, I think it's about 40 feet tall. It's not the only magnolia tree that I have. I'll show you another one, and almost as big as this one. I don't know how old it is. And it's very unfortunate, but we do have to remove it, especially because a lot of this land is going to be a fruit orchard, and this just doesn't work for me. I just hate that it's right in the center. If it was somewhere on the edge, it would stay. And then this one over here, I believe it's an oak tree. It's really large, and it's 100% in the way of our structure. And to give you an idea, it's going to be a pavilion. Let's keep walking over here. I think the neighbor is moving away from our area. But if not, we're gonna go over on the other side and then we'll circle back. There's that other gate. And this is what I was talking about that's gonna be cleaned up. And this is the front of the house. Do you see that there's no landscaping here? Can you imagine the possibilities of an open slate? I just can't wait to fill this up. We don't use the front door here. We actually use a side door that's over on that side. Over here is the girls' basketball goal, and some more land, some areas that we need to clean up. This is the official front of the house. So all this is gonna be cleaned up as well. We're just afraid of the snakes. But pretty much the entire land has been cleaned pretty well, so it's not much that we have to come back and do. They left us this swing. The girls love it. It is huge. Never seen a swing like this. It holds about 700 pounds. And then you have this view, which this side has a lot more trees. And this is where I'm going to build the vegetable garden. We're gonna move over on this side because the neighbor's still cutting his lawn and it's pretty loud. This is the other side. This is where we have a lot of things. I'm excited to show you this one feature. Yes, that is a greenhouse. Out of all things, we found a house with a greenhouse. Who would have known? I'm not gonna show you the inside yet because I have a lot of containers in there and I need to fix it up a little bit. I know that it's been a few years since it was used, so there's spider webs, there's filth. I mean, it needs some TLC. So those will need to be replaced. They're really old and there's no sunlight that goes through them. But the idea is really neat. I have a door here, window. It's pretty filthy in there, and so is this side too. But I just wanted to show you overall that I have a greenhouse. And here's the other side. This feature is pretty neat. It's a fan, and once the fan turns on, these vents open up. Can you imagine the possibilities? Ah! I have a lot of these trellises, but there is a lot of shade here, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna grow there yet, but I have quite a few of those. So if you have any ideas, maybe we could do some morning glories. I'm not sure. I'm still learning the sun areas here. And then check this out, which it really bums me because of the location now. I know when it was built, it was probably the best one, but now it isn't. We have a raised bed garden. Those containers were there next to the swing at the other house. They had a door here, which right now kind of looks a little awkward because the fence isn't around the garden. So it's like a floating door. It looks a little funny. But these are some really good raised beds. The brick floor has been here for a long time, so it has settled and there's a lot of changes in the ground. This is at a different angle. This raised bed is actually 20 feet long by 3. So it's a really large raised bed. But I think what they did to sell the house is They had a lot of wood that they chipped and they just filled the raised beds with it. It's a lot of wood chips that are not composted. So it's gonna be a little difficult to utilize the space right now. I really thought I was gonna be able to plant something here right now, but you see how there's a lot of shade? It is midday and we still have a lot of shade here. So it's not too much that I can do here unless I remove some trees. And I found out that this tree right here, which was going to be removed, is a pecan tree. And I am not removing a pecan tree. So we are going to have to figure out what to do with this shaded garden. We're not going to remove it yet, but it is an idea. It's either remove the raised bed garden or remove the pecan tree that's causing all the shade. Let me know your thoughts. What would you do? And look, right next to me is a fig tree. We have figs. I'm so excited. You can tell that they didn't prune them. Up at the top over here, you'll see that there are some figs and they're quite large already. There's not that many. There was a freeze here as well, and this is new growth. And so it just takes a little bit to get a lot of figs. And I'm looking around and I think something ate my figs. I know I had more than 2 and I only see 2 right now. So that's a bummer. But I will say that there are deer here that visit us, which is another thing. I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing because they will eat a lot of the things that I have out. So I have to fence the garden. But it's so nice to see them in the morning and at night. My dog might scare them away now, but we see them quite often and it's such a treat. So obviously one of the things that I've been brainstorming a lot is the location of the new vegetable garden. And originally I wanted to add it to the other side because it has full sun right now. There's not a lot of trees, but I always wanted to see the garden through the kitchen window. So I changed my plans and we're going to do it on this side. Let me show you the back of the house where the kitchen is, the dining room is, and where the rest of the patio is. Maybe it's a wraparound porch, but I love it so much. There's a swing there. I'm not sure if that's where I'm gonna keep it, but for now it's a good spot. I have 2 doors back here. This one is the garage and that one is the kitchen. That is the dining room. It's a really big window. So if I get close to the kitchen window and I turn around, this is my view. And do you notice that right there? They actually had a water fountain. That is not the one from the house. They had a water feature. And I'm not sure why they chose this location, but we're gonna work with it. I think that I'm going to focus the entrance of the garden leading out to this fountain. But here's going to be the vegetable garden. We're trying to lay it out. All of these trees are gonna go, and then once I have full sun, or once they're removed, I'll see if I have the full sun that I need. I do have these other big trees in the area, but I don't want to remove any more than I should. Hopefully these clusters of trees are the only ones that I'm gonna remove from this side of the property. Guess what other trees that I have that I didn't know until I have an app. It's called Picture This, and it scans all the plants and it tells you what they are. Oh my God, it's been a lifesaver. You can save them. It's so neat. So I scanned a lot of these trees and we have a lot of oaks. But this one, and I have a few, I think I have 3. This one is a mulberry tree. I had never seen a mulberry tree and it's full of mulberries. Oh my God, let me show you. It's this tree right here. And maybe you can see them, maybe not. And this is why they are expensive. It's because you have to climb up there to get them. You can see some of them here on the ground. So I've been cleaning some of these and I still eat them. Just because I don't want them to go to waste. Call me crazy, but I think that is the most organic you can get. So I'm standing in front of our barn slash shop. We're going to change the color. We're not fond of the red. I think we're gonna change a few things of it. We might repurpose it. We don't have like farm equipment. I know we're gonna get a mower or a couple mowers and a trailer, but it's huge. So we might do something fun with it as well. Here it is. I actually don't know the dimensions, but from here to here is a shop slash barn, and then from here over is a lot of storage space. And if I come close to here, I'm wondering if you can guess what this is. I know it's a citrus tree. I don't know what exactly it is, but I also know that that's coming from underneath the graph. I don't particularly think that this is a tree from seed. So I think this one's gonna go. It is indicating that a citrus tree or trees can grow here. So that is pretty neat. Now we're gonna come over on this side to show you the plans for over here. This is the 5th gate, and this one leads to the barn. And then I'm gonna walk over here and show you blueberry bushes. There's a couple blueberries. I know these need more sun, so it's probably the reason why there isn't that many blueberries on these, or maybe they are new, but they look pretty shaded to me. This one only has a couple blueberries, but I'm super excited that they're here. Let's keep walking. And that is my other magnolia tree. There's also a lot of little trees. So this is one of the trees that we're gonna keep, but I'm gonna clean it up. We're gonna get rid of all the little trees growing around it and probably clean up to 10 feet from the ground up, just to make it a taller tree for shade. But it's such a wide tree or trees. It's also a place for snakes, and I really need more land on this side because this side is going to be where I have some animals. I don't know if you remember, if you check out my Instagram, but I went on a trip to visit an alpaca llama farm. And the reason why I did that was, one, because it was my date night with my daughter, but I had been planning on getting those animals in our future land. So we are going to have either llamas or alpacas here, and I want baby doll sheep to start with. That's for me. My husband wants chickens, but because of their manure, I saw how good their manure did for our plants, and I definitely want to incorporate animals in this land. So those are gonna be our pets in the next coming year. So this is going to be their location, and that's why we're getting all this cleaned up, is so we have more land for them. All this area is gonna be cleaned up later, not right away. This is probably gonna be when we clean up the area for the pond. And then that's our neighbor back there. And then we have a chicken coop. What? And this chicken coop is massive. Like, out of all things that could be added to the new place is an existing chicken coop that looks pretty much brand new. This is where the garden's gonna be, and it's gonna be next to the chicken coop. Look at this giant chicken coop. Let's walk in here. Show you. I mean, isn't it brand new? It's got a few things that are gonna be replaced. I have a sink. It has water. It has a water feature there. An automatic door opener. And then over here, we have their little house. That looks pretty neat to me. This is where they lay their eggs, I believe, because this is called Ste Box. We don't know anything about this yet. then this is where they hang out. How cool is this? And they still have a run, which is pretty big too. It's fully fenced. Maybe if we open the door, fully fenced run. The only thing I'm going to change is probably the red, so it goes with the raised beds. So that's for my husband. He's anxious to put chickens in here, and it's so big. Let's keep walking over here. They had a bunny coop. For one, I'm not planning on having bunnies. And two, to me, bunnies should be more free than this. Even though it looks large, to me, bunnies run super fast and they run a lot, and this doesn't seem like a good home for them. So I don't know what we're gonna do with this. We might use it for introducing new animals into the area. I'm not so sure. Also gave me ideas on how to repurpose that, because the only other option is to remove it completely, but I'd hate to get rid of something that could be used for something else that I haven't thought about. Moving on. This is the other well. This is the well that provides water to our home and every other area and this side of the property. And it's the same setup as the other one. This is smaller, but it's the same huge concrete well. And this is where I was telling you that there is an irrigation system that I don't think has been used. If you notice some of these notes, that's 1992. So we're definitely gonna get somebody to come check that out when it comes time to add the irrigation to the garden. And let's keep on going. Just wanted to walk you over on this other side. Maybe took it closer to the fountain. We removed some of these stones to access power. We need to put these back, but we have a plug there. And we actually used this area this weekend to blow up an inflatable screen. So that's what that was for. That fountain needs to be cleaned, but we're not gonna do that yet. But I love to listen to it. It reminds me so much of home. And then I wanted to show you the other mulberry trees that I have. Here it is. Maybe you can see the mulberries on this one better. Oh my gosh, it is full of mulberries. And we have one more on the other side. So all these stumps here, those are gonna be removed tomorrow and maybe Wednesday. So that's coming really, really soon. But here's the other mulberry tree. We saw a squirrel picking at them the other day. It was so neat. I mean, it looked like the branch was almost going to break, but it didn't. He successfully ate a lot of mulberries. Now we're back to this side of the house. And that concludes the tour of the house. I wanted to show you what's inside of the shop, but it is not in the best conditions. There's a lot of stuff there, so we'll leave that for another day. I really hope that I didn't drag this too far. I really wanted to show you a lot of the things that are here. I hope that you enjoyed it. I don't know if this is what you imagined. Let me know below. I would love to read what your ideas were of our new place, if you expected this or not, and if you like it. I love it. I love it so, so much. It was one of those homes that from the listing, we knew it was ours. And to tell you that it is the only house that we ever visited. It's the first house we took a look at, and we actually got it. So thanks to God, He made it come true. It's crazy to believe that we were able to close on this house a week and a half before we closed on our other home, and we were able to move everything. We didn't have to stay anywhere. We didn't have to look for storage. It just, everything came here. It was such an exhausting week and a half, but it was everything that I wished for. It turned out to be perfect. There are so many plans for this land. I'd love to hear what your ideas are. Now that you see this place, you get to have some ideas with me, and I would love for you to share them. One thing that I haven't mentioned is the fact that at some point my garden's going to be open for you to come visit. I want this to be a teaching place. So stay tuned for more details on that to come. And for now, this is it. I didn't want to make this too long. There's probably a lot that I didn't show you, but let's just leave that for curiosity and for you to stick around and see what's coming. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.